there are a lot of choices when it comes to 7-seaters. If you don't want something too big, like say a Ford Everest, but want something a bit bigger than a Mitsubishi Expander and so on, this JAC JS8 Pro comes into play as an in-betweener or the best of both worlds. And yes, guys, thank you to everyone who said the proper pronunciation of the brand is JAC, not JAC, to avoid confusion with another brand that almost has the same letters. Anyways, so I'd like to thank everyone so much at JAC Cars Philippines for making this 1 week lend out possible, and special thanks to JAC Cars Pasig because they're the ones who literally made me review almost the entire lineup a couple months ago. The JS8 Pro is a mid-size crossover and it is much larger than your usual crossovers. You get this very aggressive look, and I gave my say of the looks of this vehicle a couple months ago, and having lived with this for almost a week now, there's nothing quite like the looks of this JS8 Pro. It's again one of the most aggressive looking cars that you can buy out there. Hiring this JAC JS8 Pro, and finally we can see the heart and soul of this vehicle since there's no more plastic cover. This is a 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that produces a monstrous 182 horsepower and 300 Newton meters of torque, and mated to a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. And I say monstrous because with the amount of crossovers available in this segment, this is one of the most powerful and peppiest ones that you can get. And I would say too, it's one of the most frugal in terms of horsepower too, which I will share later on. Down the side of this JS8 Pro, it's again much larger than your crossover counterparts. But what I like overall with the design of this, besides the front of course, this has a much cleaner look than usual because there is less cladding than usual, and same impressions I gave to a while back. And these are running on 285, 50, and 19 series tires, so pretty large for a base crossover already. You get your side mirrors here with repeaters and cameras underneath. And I like this garnish over here. It's not your usual chrome or gloss black, but there's an additional triple bronze trims to signify that this is a JAC vehicle. Roof rails up on top. And now here at the rear, you get a full functioning LED light bar, unlike with some other crossovers. And what I like too, same as the ones in front, they give a little light dance once you turn off and lock the vehicle itself. Yeah, one thing I did say I didn't like about this vehicle, this has fake exhaust. But that's pretty much it. Yes, you too get fake vents, but the design overall is still pretty good in my opinion. And open the boot up itself. This is one of the reasons why too this is one of the most popular JAC models, because of the space that you can get. So with all of the seats up, you have a total of 418 liters. And here on the right side, you get one LED light along too with a 12-volt socket, and folding down the third row is pretty easy. Just pull and push method. Simple as that. And I like it's a completely flat floor too. So that means now it extends to 1,253 liters. And this is probably too one of the most spacious mid-size crossovers that you can get, because if you fold all of the seats down, you have now a total of 2,153 liters. And with that amount of space, you can definitely camp in this vehicle. So this is the interior once again of this JAC JS8 Pro, and upon getting in the vehicle, this has a nice greeting to you, and yeah, it eats pretty fast. Here in the door card, surprisingly, there's a lot more premium materials than usual. You get squeegee materials, leather soft pads here for your elbow, and a lot of chrome stuff along too with cubby spaces and cup holders. And let's start this up. Engine start stop button, by the way. And you have here an array of two 12.3-inch screens, one for your instrument cluster that displays all of your important information, and you only can play with the trip mileage and for your radio functions, but you can alternate the radio with Bluetooth media. Here on the left side, we have an air conditioning vent, and along too with the bronze trim emblems once again. That applies to, by the way, on either side of the dashboard. Further down below, you have your headlight leveler, side mirror adjustments, and two more functioning buttons for your electronic stability control and for your electronic tailgate. Steering wheel is pretty solid, as I once said before. It's more on the hard side of things despite being leather, but still nice to the touch. On the left side, you have your cruise control functions, and on the right side, you get your volume, instrument cluster, and phone connectivity buttons. So it's a bit weird, everything is here on the right side. And for your 12.3-inch infotainment system, you have a fast cool and fast warm functions. The fast cool, by the way, comes really, really handy in this climate. Now, along too, you have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. It's a very good system too. And the response time from switching left to right or up and down, it's pretty solid too, I have to say. They have a 360-degree camera. I love all of the systems. It's pretty clear and very easy to understand. And a lot more functions here that you can do, like for your vehicle health, you have here for your tire pressure monitoring system and your vehicle maintenance. I praised that a lot too before because it was a bit more similar now, like what you get with BMW per se. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, one nitpick of mine, I'm just being honest, most of the controls here are done, again, in the infotainment system, like for your AC functions. I mean, yeah, there are separate buttons further down here, below the vents itself. I find this really handy, but again, for the radio, you have to control everything here. Like for changing the stations, there's no separate tuning button, but that's the only nitpick I found. And further down, you have one type A USB port, a wireless charging pad, and here on the center console, you have a rotary gear shifter, electronic parking brake, auto hold function, toggle switch for your driving modes, and two cup holders here along again with the JAC emblems. They're all chromed out, so a bit less dirty than usual compared that only like of gloss black here as per se. And for the cup holders, only thin tumblers can fit. Sadly, my big ones cannot fit in this whatsoever. And as I said, the build quality, the visuals here is really good. I mean, there's a lot of squidgy materials, more leather here, whereabouts. But again, look at that. Nothing's rattling, nothing's out of place. It's a very, very solid build. Very good with the build quality of this. And glove box, like what I said, it's a decent amount of space, but it is pretty much the same in every JAC crossover you can get. And further down this one, you get a larger cubby space along too with one 12-volt socket and one type A USB port. And for the center console box itself, it's pretty decent amount of space, and you have a cooling function just inside, so you can keep all of your things in check. And the seats are all leather. You have electronic adjustments for both sides. However though, only the driver's seat gets the height adjustments for obvious reasons. And above here, you have your LED lights, sunglasses holder, and controls for the panoramic sunroof that stretches all the way to the second row. Visor, vanity mirror with LED light. These don't extend, yeah, but it makes up for it. You have a ticket clip holder. Now for the driving mode, so I put it here to Eco, it's green, and Snow mode, it's blue. And to activate sport mode, you have to switch this to S, and now it is orange. Eco mode will tend to gear hunt quite a lot. However, it does the job really, really well on saving a lot of fuel. More on that later. And snow mode, I have not tried it at all, but I assume only this will come in handy for heavy rains and during the typhoon season itself. And naturally, sport mode will tend to stay on the gears quite longer, and you have less turbo lag and less throttle delay. So it is really, really fast, this JS8 Pro, and I cannot wait to show you guys again later on. And one thing I have not tried out during when I shot this back at the dealership, so for this capacitive touch buttons here on the right side of the infotainment system, I find it pretty handy when you have passengers, so they can be the ones to control what you need here for the in the infotainment system rather, so the driver is not distracted at all times. As for the second row of this JS8 Pro, this is what I praise to a lot with this vehicle. I mean, the feet room is pretty good, knee room, and if I stretch forward, almost not hitting the seat itself. That is my driving position, by the way, and headroom itself is quite a lot despite the sunroof itself. And remember, I am 5'4", I'm a short guy. Here in the door card, pretty much the same like the ones in front. Unlike the ones in front now, this top part is plastic compared to squeegee stuff, but it still makes up for it. You have cup holders and cubby spaces on either side. And if I sit here in the middle, there is no transmission tunnel whatsoever. You get two map pockets on either side, and here in the middle, you get two air conditioning vents and one of each type A and type C USB port, and another cubby space down below. And take note to the type C is a 60-watt fast charger. I like that. And above here, you have your LED lights, as you can see, and have a central armrest with two cup holders. Yet again, only the thin water jugs can fit here. And getting into the third row, once again, it's pretty much easy. You just pull this lever and you are here. And without adjusting the second row, I mean, have a lot of feet and knee room, surprisingly for third row, and headroom is pretty good too. For taller people, yeah, might struggle a bit, but there's a massive lump here, so if you just stretch a bit forward, this is my headroom now. This is still pretty good, and the space here in the third row is pretty much comparable to the likes of the pickup-based SUVs. And on either side, you have cup holders, cubby spaces on either side. And exclusive on the right side, you get your air conditioning controls over here. There are 3 levels, another Type A USB port. Now, for seat here in the middle, if necessary only. Okay, not bad. And again, comparable to the likes to the PPVs like the Ford Everest, Toyota Fortuner, and the lot. So this JS8 Pro, if you're looking for practicality, this is literally way better than that of the MPVs like the Expanders, BRVs, Ortigas, you name it. The dimensions of this vehicle is on the larger scale of things. You expect this to ride to be like that of a pickup-based SUV, but you'd be wrong. The JAC JS8 Pro rides on front McPherson struts and torsion beams for the rear. The dampers are soft and the spring rate is not too hard, so the rebound rate is excellent even when you accidentally go at speed hump at speeds. Don't try that at home. But when I tried that out myself around 70 kilometers per hour, because I didn't see it at night and it was literally pitch black, it went through them with ease. No other car could actually do that. And two, there's not much suspension thuds as so. The NVH here too is very good. Not much wind noise going in here to the cabin. One thing though I would like to upgrade with this vehicle, it's the tires. They're not that bad, but I would say it's not that grippy. Here, I'll demo from a standstill, then I'll suddenly gun it. There, see? It's a little bit annoying when it comes to stop and go traffic because I just want to calmly get off the line and not to show off to everyone. However, on a good note, there's not much tire noise going in here to the cabin if you're not on rough surfaces. But here on a smoother pavement, so I'll go a bit faster, around 60 kilometers per hour. That's actually alright. The handling of this JAC JS8 Pro is really good for a large vehicle. The electronic power steering has a quick ratio to it. Trade-off though, expect a lot of body lean, which made me realize this is more of a Autobahn cruiser. Sorry, T-Plex cruiser. The star of the show is definitely the powertrain. ...182 horsepower and 300 Newton meters on the top. There's a lot of pep to this. And let's not forget that this weighs around 1,600 kilograms. Not bad for a crossover 7-seater SUV, and suspension test over high speed, it coped with them with ease. With the weight of this vehicle, it's again an in-betweener of the smaller MPVs and the much larger pickup-based SUVs. And the turning circle of this vehicle, yeah, you have to watch out for if this is gonna be your first car. It's really wide, so this is like almost 3 lanes long of a turning radius itself. And this is what I like to with this vehicle. Despite being a dry type, dual clutch transmission, I researched heavily, this is not a wet type. It is very smooth and very seamless. As such, I'm just in D mode and then wanna floor it. Okay, it responds really well, and I am just in normal mode. For obvious reasons, in sport mode, it will tend to hang on the gears a lot longer, and of course, there's less turbo lag, there's less throttle delay. But I saw normal and surprisingly eco mode pretty good too. Everyone might ask, is the DCT jerky? Well, despite its dry type characteristics, it's still surprisingly good. So here from a standstill, then if you suddenly want to floor it, yeah, you can hear again a bit of wheel spin. So I had to adjust myself when I drive this vehicle every day. So you have to be a little bit careful on the throttle than usual. So here again from a standstill, and then slowly and gradually, then you are away. But of course, when you have a lot of seat time with this vehicle, you won't have an issue anymore. Now, the biggest surprise with this JAC JS8 Pro is the fuel economy. Despite the weight and power in city driving, and even on the heaviest traffic, I managed a whopping 11.9 kilometers per liter. No joke, I literally did it again for another 5 kilometers, a total of 10. It will just go around 10 kilometers per liter. I have never seen a 7-seater non-hybrid gasoline crossover or a car in general that is able to do this. So JAC cars have done a lot of work with this engine to be fuel efficient. However though, on highway, I expected a little bit better numbers knowing it's very fuel efficient in the city. I only managed 14 kilometers per liter, but of course, I think you can do around 15 kilometers per liter too. But that's still not so bad since it's on par with the pickup-based SUVs and two that are diesel. And among other things to note for, the visibility all around is really good even at the rear. However, you have to watch out though for the A-pillar and the side mirrors themselves since they're really huge. So it kind of creates a blind spot. And back here in the interior, I finally enjoyed this ambient light, especially at night. And sadly, all know me, I'm a bit of an old school guy. I wish the speakers were a little bit better. It kind of lacks bass, but hey, at least you can still hear some stuff. And to take note too of, since this is a very large vehicle, this has a very long but firm pedal, a bit similar like to that of an Audi, surprisingly. So here, I'll run 40 kilometers per hour and then suddenly brake. It's still very strong though. And for my impressions here at the rear, despite this JS8 Pro running on torsion beams and here running on EDSA itself, it's still very much comfortable. Again, I am very impressed with almost everything about this JAC JS8 Pro. It's a little bit more premium than usual, as my thoughts with the interior and the ride driving dynamics is, I guess, a bit better than an MPV, but of course much better than the pickup-based SUVs. So at 1,350,000 pesos, this is such a steal for what you get for a 7-seater that is not a hybrid but yet very fuel efficient. You got the looks, for some say if this looks very aggressive and unique at the same time. And yeah, got all of the creature comforts here and finally got to sit here too in the second row. It's again very good. So that concludes my review of this JAC JS8 Pro. Again, I would like to thank JAC Cars Philippines and special thanks to JAC Cars Pasig who made this lend out review possible, and special thanks to my chauffeur for today, Adrian1011. Hope you guys like and subscribe, and I will see you with the upcoming review of the Eater B505. Bye-bye.